What's going on, guys? My name's Theoatrix, and today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to farm Dark Totems and also Ancient Shards in Oldschool Runescape. Dark Totems are obtained from killing monsters in the Catacombs of Kurend, and with the Dark Totem and an Ancient Shard, you can teleport into Skotizo's lair, and then you can kill him for at least, it's usually over 200k per drop, and it also drops a 100% chance of giving a hard clue, a 1 in 5 chance of giving an elite clue, and it also has a 1 in 65 chance of a pet, which is a very low drop rate for a pet especially. Now on top of these awesome drops, it also has a chance of 1 in 1,000 to drop an Onyx, which is 3 mil from 1 kill, and it can also drop a Dark Claw, which is used to create the purple Slayer Helm with 1,000 Slayer points. Now getting the totems, you get them from the Catacombs of Kurend, and every single monster in the Catacombs drops a Dark Totem piece at some drop rate. The drop rate, it's actually 1 in 500 minus the enemy's hit points level. So if it has 100 hit points, the drop rate will be 1 in 500 minus 100, making it 1 in 400. So just from that, if the monster has a higher hit points, it's gonna have a better drop rate for the totem. But it's not multiplicative. You need to keep in mind that it's only a subtraction. So that means that the monsters with a lot more hit points are not going to be a ton better to kill in terms of getting totem. Now, when you get a totem drop, you always get in the same order every time: the bottom first, then the middle, then the top, and then you must combine all 3 of the pieces into a totem, and then you can start receiving drops again. So if you have all 3 pieces, you're not going to get a totem drop ever. So once you combine them, you can have another chance at getting a bottom, middle, and a top again. Now, getting into the farming of the totems, in my opinion, probably the most effective way of getting totems is by doing all of your possible Slayer tasks that you can do in the Catacombs inside there, even though the XP rates are a little bit slower since you can't use a cannon, but most of the time the monster has a bit more health, so the task lasts a little longer and the XP rates aren't that bad. But if you do want fast Slayer experience, don't go to the Catacombs, unless you're doing Necrails or Dust Devils where you're bursting. Now, while you're on a Slayer task here, if you've unlocked the superior Slayer encounters, the bigger and badder reward, it allows superior monsters to spawn randomly, and once you kill them, if you kill them in the Catacombs of Kurend, they always drop a totem piece no matter what. Now, in terms of actually farming the totems, so not on a Slayer task, there's a couple of ways you can go about it. I'm going to start off with a lower level method, but also high level players can do this, and they can do it a lot more effectively, but you'll see why in a second. So the first method is killing the hill giants in the Catacombs. They have the lowest hit points inside the Catacombs, only 35, so you'll be able to one-hit them if you have a pretty decent combat level. And they drop totems pieces at a rate of 1 in 465, and I was able to kill them maybe once every 4 seconds on average, so that means about every hour I would get a full totem. I started killing these, and I managed to get an Ancient Shard and a totem piece in the space of like 2 minutes. I'm not sure why. I think I just got really lucky there. But yeah, you can expect a full totem approximately every hour. And another awesome thing about killing the hill giants is that they can drop a giant key at a rate of 1 in 128, and you can use that giant key to have a go at killing Obor, the hill giant boss. Now, the next method that I have is a good way to make money while you're farming totems. Brutal Black Dragons have the highest possible hit points of any monster in the Catacombs of Kurend, which makes them the best drop rate for totem pieces. But you need to keep in mind here that Brutal Black Dragons have a very high defense level, so you won't be hitting very often, meaning that you won't have a lot of chances at getting a totem piece. But at the same time, you're going to make about 1 mil coins per hour. So this is actually a really good option for people wanting to make money and somehow get totem pieces in the long run for killing Skotizo and maybe getting that pet. For Brutal Black Dragons, you need to use Protect from Magic, and you don't actually need an anti-fire shield, you just need the anti-fire potions, and then they don't hit anything provided that you're ranging them. I wouldn't bother maging them, they have a very high magic defense, so ranging them, you can kill approximately 50 per hour depending on how often you hit and how high your range level is. And these guys also have a chance at dropping the Dragon Full Helm, and that is 13 mil right now, and it also drops the Visage, which is about 10 mil. And they also drop hard and elite clues on top of that, so the money you're going to be getting from these guys is really good. Now, probably the best way overall to farm totem pieces in old school RuneScape is bursting Necreels, or you can do Dust Devils, but Necreels have a better drop rate because they have a lower hit points. But the thing about Necreels is they spawn their little death spawns, and you do somehow manage to kill them instead of the Necreels sometimes, so it does slow the kills down a little bit. Anyways, Necreels have 205 hit points, which means that their drop rate for a totem piece is only 1 in 295, and provided that you can burst them, which I recommend only doing this method if you have unlocked Ice Burst or Barrage, and that requires the Desert Treasure quest and being on the Ancient Spellbook. But yeah, these guys actually are decent money per hour. You actually break pretty much even. You don't really profit that much, but you do profit a little bit. So these guys are great for a little bit of profit, really good for magic experience, and great for farming totems since you can kill so many at one time and their drop rate is actually really good. If you want to learn how to burst them properly, you can check out the link in the description to my video about that. There's a specific method that you should do to be able to kill them, and I talk about the setup as well, so if you're curious, that'll be there. You need to keep in mind here is that greater Necreels require 80 Slayer to kill, so these aren't appropriate for everybody, but for high level players, these definitely are worth killing for totems. Now, Dust Devils, on the other hand, only require 65 Slayer to kill, so it's a bit more open-ended for people, but this time they only have 130 hit points, meaning the drop rate is quite a bit lower than the Necreels, but at the same time, you're still getting free magic experience here. In that video that I've linked, I'm showing that both of these two monsters, actually you don't lose money by bursting them. If you barrage them, on the other hand, you do lose money because barrage is quite a bit more expensive. Anyway, as I said, these guys are a lower level alternative since it's only 65 Slayer to kill them. But still, if you've unlocked Necreels and you have 80 Slayer, obviously, I would recommend doing Necreels. Simply from my own experience, I've realized that Necreels do give them quite a bit more often per hour than the Dust Devils. And also, you actually get a little bit more profit from Necreels by bursting them. Even though it's very minimal, it's still worth noting. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys learned something today of how to farm totems in old school RuneScape. Obviously, there are so many monsters in the Catacombs of Kurend that you can kill, but these ones that I've said are the most noteworthy for getting totems. Really quickly, there's one more thing that I want to note. Killing Abyssal Demons, which requires 85 Slayer, is actually another really good way to get totem pieces. You can't burst these guys, but the reason why they're so good is because they have a chance at dropping the Abyssal Demon Head, which is required for the Red Slayer Helmet, which a lot of people really want. And also they have a 1 in 512 chance at giving a Whip, which is 1.7 mil, making them really profitable. And they also drop hard and elite clues, and the totems come in at a rate of 1 in 350. So these are really good if you really want the Abyssal Heads. You can camp them here. You'll eventually get the head, but at the same time, you're going to get a lot of totem pieces, and you'll have another chance of getting a pet at Skotizo. Anyways, guys, that's all I wanted to say today, and now it's time for clip of the day. Today's clip is from Downy Junior, and I don't think I've ever seen anyone this lucky on clip of the day. He managed to get himself Rocky, the thieving pet, at level 5 thieving while thieving a tea stall. And from a tea stall, the drop rate is 1 in 70,000 almost. So he got so lucky to be able to get that at level 5 thieving. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching today's video. If you learned something, make sure you leave a like on the video. Subscribe if you're new to my channel. And as always, thanks for watching and have a nice day.